computer's way too cold to have 1,000 takes. Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of my knitting vlog. My name is Hilary. The title's a little deceiving. I did put out, you might have saw one video earlier last year. We're in 2025 now. I think I just rushed through it. I was too excited to post it, and you know what? It just wasn't the direction I wanted to go. So here we are with a new episode 1. I'm filming this on a snowy Christmas Eve. My goal is to put out one video a month as I get started and kind of see how fast it takes me to film and edit. I'm still kind of learning everything to it. I am gonna have some sit down, kind of share projects, but also have some knit with me sections, and then kind of just take you along with a couple other passions that I have that you'll see later. Today I'm wearing the Young's Beanie by Witre Designed. I bought this pattern on the Knit app probably back in 2023, and I really like how patterns are written on that platform. You can hit next to get to the next step in the pattern, and then also like when you select your size, it only shows you the directions for that size. So I kind of forgot about that app. That's the only pattern I've bought on there, so maybe I'll have to check it out again. But all right, so what I want to talk to you guys today about is I have 2 finished objects. One is the Terracotta Sweater by Lene Holme's Samsøe of Lene. And then I also have a self-drafted Mosaic pattern beanie that I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna write the pattern. I don't know, but I'll talk to you guys about that later. And then I have one gift knit I'm trying to finish up. So I'll be kind of working on that, talking about it. And then I have some yarn coming in the mail that I'm gonna share for a new cast on. Hint, it's kind of a well-known textured patterned sweater, so I'm sure you're gonna be familiar about it, but I'm super excited to cast that on. So if all of that sounds amazing, then grab a project and get cozy. I'm just gonna finish up this walk. It's actually pretty cold, and then I'm gonna grab some hot chocolate. All right, I'm back. Starting to feel my fingers again, and I grabbed some hot chocolate, and I'm ready to talk to you guys about my finished objects. So the first one I had mentioned was the Terracotta Sweater by Lene. I'm very excited to share this pattern. So this was my first color work sweater, and not intimidating at all. I highly recommend this pattern to first-time color work knitters. It's not daunting because you're only working a small section of color work, and then you're onto some texture, and once you're starting a color work section, it feels like you're almost done. It's a very quick knit. This comes in extra small to 5XL. I knit mine in size extra small. So I'm 5'10" with a bust size of 36 inches, which is about 91 centimeters. And I get the about 8 to 10 inches of positive ease. I knit this exactly to the pattern. I use the needles recommended. I knit this pattern in the recommended yarn, Sandnes Garn Tin Pure Gint, and the Tin Silk Mohair in the color Urban Chic and Marzipan. I'm familiar, I've knit with this yarn before, so I know it's not the softest, but I find it's only a little bit scratchy for me around the collar, and sometimes I have a sleeveless turtleneck that I'll wear with it just to kind of give a little buffer to that. But really it's not so uncomfortable that I can't wear it without anything underneath it. I just like how it gives structure and texture to the sweater. So I definitely like knitting with it, even though it's not the softest, coziest yarn. A few modifications I made for this pattern is when I was doing the ribbing, I did knit through the back loop for the 1x1 rib. Also, I do not know the Italian bind-off method yet. It is on my list to learn. So I did a standard bind-off, and I just made sure not to pull too tight when I was finishing the stitches, just so it wouldn't be too tight around my waist, and I would get enough room around the collar. Also, when I got to the last colorwork section, I stopped and blocked it just to see how much it would grow. I wanted the sweater to hit right about my hip bone, so I made sure to kind of hold off on finishing the length. I did the same on the sleeves. I stopped at the last color work, I blocked it, I tried it on, and then I kept going. So I don't think I did the same recommended like number of rounds the pattern called for, but I just modified it to where I wanted the sleeves to go and where I wanted the body to go. Also, I did a couple more decreases right before I started the ribbing on the cuff just because I wanted a tighter fit. I wanted to be able to wear this to work, and I can't really have floppy sleeves, so I just made sure that was a little bit tighter than what the pattern called for. But other than that, pretty much everything else, the main body and the decreases for most of the sleeves are all the same. Again, I highly recommend this to anyone that is starting colorwork for the first time. Just because you are holding 2 strands, it doesn't get too complicated. I'm sure someday I'm going to start using 3-4 strands for a colorwork pattern, but for now I'm happy with 2. This is definitely going to be a heavy hitter in my winter sweater rotation. My second finished object I want to share with you is the hat that has no name. So it was inspired by Taylor Earl of Wool Needles Hands. Recently, she's been doing mosaic knitting on her channel. She showed a blanket she made, and she's been doing some hats. And I'm gonna link her channel below because if you haven't checked her out, she's amazing. I highly recommend watching her videos. And she recently was talking about a website which you can use to come up with mosaic patterns, and it will tell you if you're following the rules, which is amazing because it's kind of confusing when you're first starting out as a new mosaic knitter. So I'm gonna pop up a little clip of me using the website here. It took me quite a few tries to figure out like what colors can be on top of what, because you have to slip some stitches, and then how many of those stitches can you have in a row. So the website really helps you if you are new to mosaic knitting, and then it will let you know like, hey, this doesn't work and which stitches don't work. So one day I was playing around with it and I came up with this like tree pattern, and I really liked it. So I was like, what can I make with this that's really easy just so I can practice mosaic knitting? After the terracotta sweater, I was kind of like, I don't have to use 2 strands at the same time but still have a colorwork pattern, like sign me up. So I came up with this beanie pattern. So as you can see, I have repeating trees, and this is a self-drafted pattern, so I really hadn't figured out sizing for myself yet with a beanie. I am about a 57 centimeter circumference for my head size, so I was trying to knit for that, but this turned out a little small. So it's kind of an itty bitty beanie for adults, but it's perfect for a child. I just did a 1x1 brim, and then once I was done with that, I changed to my main color and then started my mosaic section, and then I did a 1 decrease for 1 knit round, and that actually decreased it too fast. So this is a really snug fitting hat. So I decided to kind of go back to the drawing board, and I came up with this one, which fits me a lot better. I used some leftover double Sunday yarn from Sadness Garn. I really wasn't sure if I was gonna like the pattern, so I kind of was like, I'm not gonna invest in some yarn yet. And actually I love the feel of double Sunday, so this actually was perfect, and I like the colors. So I did a little bit different for this one. I actually did a 1x1 rib for 3 inches. I did a knit round and then a 1x1 for 2.5 more inches, just so that the brim has a place where it wants to fold and it doesn't kind of like unfold itself like it did in my first one. As you can see, it kind of falls down easily. So I worked on that section, and then I knit for about 1.25 inches until I started the mosaic section again. Same thing with the trees. And then when I was decreasing, I did 1 decrease round for 2 knit rounds. So that really gave me a more subtle decrease, and it's a little bit more roomy on the top. So I've kind of jotted down the pattern notes when I was making this because I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna write this pattern. It's my first one, so I'm a little nervous. I really don't know, like, is it gonna be for free? Should I sell it? How do I get a tech editor, test knitters, all that jazz? So I've been reading up on that. If you have any recommendations, if you're like a first-time pattern release designer, it's a little daunting for a first time, but I really enjoyed that I came up with something myself that actually works, and I really enjoy wearing this. So I don't know, I don't have to publish it. I can just keep it for me, but maybe it'll be a project I do this year. So I'm gonna get the pattern written to a point where I'm happy with it, and kind of see where I feel my confidence level there. So any recommendations you have for first-time designers, just let me know. Maybe it'll give me a little bit more confidence to just take the plunge for this one. So those are the 2 finished objects I wanted to share with you today. Now I need to get working on a gift knit, so I think I'm gonna pull out my needles. The sun is actually coming out now, so we'll see where the day brings me. I might go back outside, but we'll see. We're on our way to go skiing, and I brought a project with me to work on in the car. These are the Friends Fingerless Mitts by Dani Sunshine. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. These are the first pair I knit about a year ago. I wear them all the time. They're starting to pill a little bit, which means they're well loved. The pattern calls for a DK light worsted weight yarn, so I just used some leftover sock yarn in my stash. They are knit on US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. The stitch gauge is 23 stitches per 4 inches, 10 centimeters. This pattern comes in 5 sizes ranging from small child to adult large. I've knit mine in the size adult medium. I have knit 6 of these. Well, I'm working on my 6th one in the past year. First pair were for me, second pair were from my mom, a little bit longer of a cuff size, and third were for a birthday gift for my coworker. Fourth was a Christmas gift for my mom's coworker, and now I'm working on another gift for a second coworker. Very easy pattern to knit up in a weekend. I think it takes about 3 to 4 hours per mitten. So it's a fun project, easy to bring with in the car and work on. So yeah, I'm excited to get these done. I need to give them to my coworker in 4 days. So I think that's gonna give me plenty of time. All right, let's go skiing. I really cursed myself from the beginning of this project because I've knit so many. So when I decided to start knitting this one, I was like, oh, I can knit this in my sleep. And I wasn't referring back to the pattern. So when I originally started this, I did the wrong ribbing. I did a 1x1 at first. I got it all the way done, and then I'm like, something just looks off. So I ripped it back, and then I started again. It must be a 2x1. And so I did that. And I was like, all right, before I go any further, I'm just gonna go get the other mitten I've knit before, make sure I'm doing this right. I wasn't, so I had to rip it back a second time, and then I did it right, a 2x2 ribbed cuff. And now, I was sitting on the couch last night when we got home, and I was just knitting away. I was like, all right, I gotta do my thumb increases until I got 15 stitches for that, then put it on hold, and I did that, and I got it to this point, and I tried it on. And then I'm like, it really doesn't come up much on my thumb. And so I grabbed the pattern, and what I actually did was 1 increase, 1 knit round, then another increase. It's supposed to be 1 increase, 2 rounds, and then another increase. So guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be frogging back. So I only have to go a little bit. I'm going to go right to where I started the thumb increases And so this didn't take me too long. I think it was about 35 minutes of work. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let's frog this for the third time. All right, so I have frogged back to before I made the mistakes with the increases. It's back on the needles and I'm ready to start again. So I finished my friend's gift knit at 9 p.m. the night before I gave them to her, so I didn't get any footage of them, but I'm gonna pop a picture of them up here. She loves them and the fit was perfect. Also, shout out to my nephew because I remembered I knit him a pair a few months ago, so I'm gonna pop up a picture of those as well. I knit those in the older child size and yeah, they came out super cute. So now I'm completely done all of my whips and I get to start the new year with a clean slate. I had mentioned earlier I was waiting for some yarn to come in the mail and I received it. So I ordered Drops Charisma in the colorway 76, which is a dark purple. My original thought was to use this for the Storm Sweater by Petite Knit. So right when I opened the package, I went ahead and did a gauge swatch and I do meet gauge with it. I'm just not quite sure, so I like it, but I'm not in love with the yarn. So I'm trying to decide if I want to use this for such a beautiful pattern when I'm not completely sold. I'm not quite sure what it is about the yarn, but maybe I can use this for the Sten Slipover by Learn Knit. Just because I had read on someone's Storm Sweater page, project page, that when they used Drops Charisma, it grew a lot when blocking and then it continued to grow as they were wearing it. So maybe if I did a slip over where there's not so much pulling on the sleeves, which would make it stretch out, and I want to use the slip over for something that would go over garments, so maybe a little bit more positive ease would not be such a bad thing. So now I need to decide if I actually want to knit that slip over in a purple, because I had originally thought I would use more of a chocolate brown. So I know this yarn is going to get used, so I'm just not quite sure for what yet. So if you have used Drops Charisma and have any input, I would love to hear from you, just because I'm not really familiar with this yarn. This is my first time ordering it. So my next project is kind of a mystery. I do want to cast something on in the next week or so. So I need to decide if I'm going to move forward with the Storm Sweater in this yarn, or maybe buy a different yarn for it, or maybe I will start the slip over. That's all I have to share with you for this episode. I appreciate you being here, and please consider subscribing if you enjoyed watching. My next episode, I will be updating you on which project I decided to cast on, and if any other projects caught my eye. I hope to see you next time. Bye.